You know how the illegal aliens are coming across the borders in numbers? And Mexico has been forced to put troops on the borders between Mexico and, I believe it's Guatemala, somewhere over there, and the United States. Or the president cut back on the money and support we give them. Well, today they're supposed to be finalizing that number of military on the borders there in Mexico. We'll see what happens. But what I've discovered is that there are a lot of African migrants coming to Mexico in order to cross the border into the U.S. Record number of African migrants are coming to Mexico, all right? Can you imagine what our country will turn out to be with all these blacks coming in from these foreign countries and the illegal alien Spanish people? It's going to be a mess because they're coming from asshole countries and they lack character. They have no moral values, and they're bringing that into America. And the Democrats want it to be. They want it that way because they want the votes. They don't care about the votes. They want the votes. They don't care about the votes. They don't care about the U.S. citizens or the illegals who are coming in. In just 1 week, agents stopped more than 500 African migrants found walking in separate groups along the Rio Grande. Children in tow. They are in the United States and are being bussed around the USA to places like San Antonio, Texas, and Portland, Maine. Texas has turned into a mess. They're trying to turn Texas into a Democrat state now, not a Republican anymore. That's what they're trying to do, just for the votes. By the way, we had excellent entertainment at the event as well. Trevor Nova, what's his last name? Wesley. Who is Trevor Nova? Trevor Wesley sang his butt off and entertained like nothing going on. The comedian. We've had interesting comedians over the years, but the best was this year. Kayvon, he was funny, going and coming. Kayvon, I laughed until the cows came home. And Owen Benjamin, I have a much better impression of him now. That's why it's always best to wait and see. Go to the person if you have an issue with them and find out for yourself. I clearly see where he's coming from now. I don't know who Standing O is.
For Owen, standing ovation.
So what now?
Standing ovation for Owen. It was
yeah.
good.
It was amazing, yeah. Absolutely. I'm the kind of person that I like, if there's a disagreement, let's get together and work it out, especially as men. Men who are running from each other rather than facing each other to work out things are women. That's how women act. They'd rather go and talk about you rather than face and deal it. All right? But anyway, back to these blacks coming into our country. San Antonio Assistant City Director Colin Bridges tried to send these migrants to Maine. And I want you to hear the response of that. This is from Fox News, a report on Colin Bridges and her request to send migrants to Maine.
San Antonio's Assistant City Manager, Dr. Colleen Bridger, revealed this to a local CBS station. Quote, the plan was 350 of them would travel from San Antonio to Portland, as in Portland, Maine. When we reached out to Portland, Maine, they said, please don't send us any more. We're already stretched way beyond our capacity. Now, why would Portland be beyond their capacity? When the San Antonio city manager's request to Portland was turned down, well, the response was jarring. Quote, we're working with them, the migrants, now to identify other cities throughout the United States where they can go and begin their asylum-seeking process. Well, where are these migrants going to be dropped next? Well, it's anyone's guess. But the fact that two cities in two states, thousands of miles apart, are both at capacity should be alarming for all Americans.
Absolutely. It's amazing to me that in America today we have such crooked people supposed to be doing right by the country, and they are unwilling to because their hearts are wicked, and they will not do right. And most of these people are adults, too, who should know better, but they will not do right. They're just such evil, nasty people. It reminds me of what has happened to most black people. They have turned their lives over to evil, nasty, dirty so-called leaders, black leaders, who would never do right by them because their hearts are wicked. And they will have blacks thinking that it's racism and all that crap just to keep them down for personal gain. Likewise, our government is like that today. Especially, but not only, on the Democratic side, and the liberal media is just the worst of the worst of the worst. Such deceiving people. So there was an this is Janet Mills, the governor of Maine. She gave a speech in January welcoming the migrant. This is from Fox News again. Here's Governor Mills' speech on immigration in Maine.
We welcome the voices of newcomers also to the public conversation. The young, the immigrants, people of different cultures, all are important members of the Maine family. From now on, yes, a sign will greet all those arriving in our state, and it will say simply, welcome home.
Amazing. What a horrible person, right? That's a horrible woman, an evil woman. This is why women should not be in charge, because they're driven by emotions, which is of Satan. And it's not based on what is right. It's not based on logic, but it's based on emotion. This woman is a horrible person. And to be the governor of Maine, look what she's doing. Now they don't want them. Oh, I just welcome everybody. Oh, everybody should come. And I would just say, welcome home. How would you like for that to be your mama? Such an evil woman. Welcome home. And the people sit there and applaud as though that's good. It's a spiritual battle, folks. It's a warfare between good and evil. And if men don't come back to their natural state of being, it's going to only get worse. What's up in Maine anyway that these people need to go up there? That you're going to invade Maine with illegal aliens? An investigative journal went to Maine to speak to the migrant. And these migrants, so-called migrants, were very reluctant to share information. This is from Fox News.
I asked them where they're from and how they came here, and they said Ecuador. And it took a while that they, were a little bit warmed up. And when they realized that I was asking about money and about who brought them here, they were backpacking. So they were not answering at all. And when I came back a few minutes later and wouldn't tell me anything about how they got here, and then they started to get aggressive, and they were contradicting each other. One said they went through the forest, and the other one said no, there was no forest. And they were actually arguing among themselves. And when it came to money and help, that's when they started to get aggressive.
Amazing. In your country, just imagine where these people are coming from, the type of people they are, and you're just letting your politicians and others let them in. What do you expect the outcome to be? And then for the white people, they hate you. They're not coming here to love white Americans who made it possible for this country to exist, the founders of the greatest country in the world. And now these people are coming here and they're going to hate the whites. They hate the whites. They're going to blame you because you want to keep your country great. And it's just mind-blowing that there are people who are working overtime to get these people here in the wrong way, for money and for votes. And they have corrupted the young people, so the young people think good is evil, evil is good, so they think it's fine. They do not know the hell they're going to have to pay as these people come to this country. An aid worker reportedly told the Gallagher that the migrant had money.
I had the impression that somebody told them not to speak about it. And when they said, well, you're here now in the States, why do you ask about our past? And then came a very aggressive kind of claim, give me help. Now we're here, you have to help us, give us money.
Who's funding these migrants? I mean, who's
I couldn't get deeper than this, but what I found out is through an aid worker there, he said they actually do have money, quite a few of them, because he spotted them under a tree right in front of the shelter, counting there a roll of money with $100 bills, and he spotted them, and they just put it back in the pocket. He didn't take it away of them, of course, but they're still hanging there and waiting for, public help.
Isn't that amazing? Part of this had to do with the women voters in America, too. There are, quote unquote, more women than men. And because the men are weak, the women are ruling and they're making bad decisions. They're voting in the wrong kinds of people. The Wicked Witch of the West, Maxine Waters, should never be in office. There's not one Democrat that should be in our government. Not one. Man or woman, to be honest. And as far as the Republican, I don't know many rhino Republicans that should be in office today because they all have selfish intentions. It's about power. It's about money. It's not about love. They love nobody. And the final soundbite is that the migrants were in possession of leaflets, and they were handed out by the NGO known as racist. The leaflets inform the migrants on their rights as well as some particular disturbing information. Immigrants don't have rights in our country. They don't have rights in our country. So they take away the American people, the citizens' rights, and they give it to the illegals. Here's that final soundbite from Fox News.
Yeah. So they're handing that out. It's in French.
Yeah.
They're handing that out to the migrants, and they're telling them their rights. And when it comes to ICE, it says ICE is government. They are not your friends. And as a Swiss, I think, what's this kind of information? And you flip the page, and it comes again with ICE and says ICE is kind of police. They are not friendly. Don't ever tell them anything confidential. So
this is outrageous. So this is an NGO, non-governmental organization, assisting aid workers, telling the migrants who are going to get money from the U.S. taxpayers not to cooperate with the government.
Isn't that amazing? You should be sitting on the edge of your seat, concerned about this. Really. You should be very, mamma mia, hola, si senor, concerned. Because you will live to regret it. These people coming in, they are not good people at all. They're bringing the little out of wedlock babies or leaving their fathers back behind, and you have to take care of them. And if you don't, you're going to have hell to pay. And just think about the crime. We already have out of control crime in America today. It's going to get worse because they are bringing the same attitude here from where they came from. That's why they're running from those hellhole countries. They didn't take care of those countries because of their attitudes. Just think about that coming here to America. Woe upon Americans who will think that this is okay. And the women who are so-called in leadership and allowing this to happen due to their fallen state and they're emotional. This is why when you have a family, you need a father in a family because the mother will let the kids get away with anything. Oh, those are my babies. Don't make the kids suffer. Don't tell your daddy. Amazing.